Hello again from the Go Travel studio. Today we have a special guest from Lake Nona Wave Hotel here in Central Florida. Whether you are a Floridian or you're coming from much farther away and you love to visit Orlando, this is a place that you are going to want to visit. You're not going to want to miss this. Let's go. Welcome to Tuesday Travel Chat. I'm your host, Julia from Go Travel. And our special guest today is David Kasperzak from Lake Nona Wave Hotel. What's going on, David? Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited about this.
I love it. Now, I can tell you that as a Central Florida resident, I love this property so much that I will drive actually 40 minutes out of my way just to go there for lunch. The vibe is amazing, but even better if you are someone who loves to come to Orlando, you love to come and not stay in the tourist areas. It's only 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes from the airport.
10 minutes, yes.
So easy access from the airport, actually close to Port Canaveral if you want to cruise. Lots of great vibes at this hotel. It's fabulous. So we're going to get into all of it. But David, you tell me why you think this property is so awesome.
You know, for me, this is a bit of a passion project for me. I grew up in the Orlando area. I went to middle school, high school, college here, and so this project and this property itself is really what I believe to be kind of my passion in selling not only travel but selling my home destination. And so I think that's kind of the person that you want in an emerging destination. And so for me, Lake Nona is a residential suburb of Orlando, and that's the easiest way to describe it, but it's so much more than that. It's a smart city with a soul. It has so much character, and it's just in the beginning stages. And so you might not know what Lake Nona is today, but in 3 years, 5 years from now, it is going to be a staple in the Central Florida area. And we're just so excited to finally have this luxury lifestyle product ready to go and ready to welcome all travelers. And it's only gonna grow from here.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to technology, when it comes to fitness, when it comes to medical, there's just this kind of booming industries happening over in Lake Nona, and all of the properties there and the restaurants and the kind of activities there reflect that. And you are going into kind of like a community as opposed to going into a tourist destination.
You know, as a local, we've always heard about this destination, Lake Nona, Lake Nona, Lake Nona. What is it? What's it going to be? What is coming? And now to see that it's finally here and it's stepping out of the shadow of Orlando proper, I couldn't be more excited about this destination. Orlando is already known as one of the tourist capitals of the world, and this is just going to enhance the experience so much more.
That's awesome. Now, we can talk about it all day long about how much we love it, but you've got to see it for yourselves. So let's do a little teaser with this video.
There's a feeling inside that life can be a daring adventure. Friends separated by cities coming together again to experience a moment that becomes a lasting memory. There's a place that recharges and invigorates, where every experience is a new wave of energy. Through these experiences, we change, we grow. Let these moments unfold and become part of your story. The story is yours to write. The tone is yours to set. As loud or as quiet, as dark or as light. Discover the memories you've been yearning to make. Take that step. Pack that suitcase. Grab hold of that feeling. Share with each other. This is the anti-routine.
Okay, so let's get into Lake Nona Wave.
Excellent. So Lake Nona, as I mentioned, residential suburb. And when you're thinking about a place to stay in one of the high traffic tourist areas in the entire world, really, you don't think of a residential suburb as an option. And so I think that what you'll find in this area is that you have something that's so uniquely local that you almost have to see it to believe it for yourself. And so Lake Nona is a smart city of the future, also being a master plan community. The next 30 years of development is already pre-planned. And so day by day, month by month, year by year, things are just going to continue to develop and build. And by the end of it, we're going to have this smart city with a soul that has all of the technological advancements of tomorrow, almost like your own very real life breathing Tomorrowland. And that's really the goal of the area. And so looking at our local destination, 10 minutes south of Orlando International Airport, 20 minutes to Walt Disney World, 25 minutes to the iDrive International Drive Convention Center area, then about 35 minutes or so to Universal Studios. We're also 35 minutes to Port Canaveral. And so when we're talking about pre and post cruise for a moment, being that we're only 10 minutes south of Orlando International, if you're flying in and out of MCO, you're going to have to come back to the airport no matter what. So we end up being a phenomenal option for that pre and post cruise stay. If you're familiar with the Port Canaveral area, there's not a ton of luxury and lifestyle product over there.
Exactly.
So we really have a value proposition there.
Wonderful.
Talking about the local destination, we are home to USTA's national campus, which is the largest collection of tennis and pickleball courts in the United States.
Fun fact if you didn't know already.
Yes, exactly. And so if you have a tennis or pickleball fan, or you yourself are looking to work on your game, our partnership with USTA is truly phenomenal. We have dedicated transportation to and from the campus. We're able to schedule lessons with tennis pros to be able to work on your swing, be able to do a racket fitting. They'll actually give you homework to take back with you to where you can schedule a follow-up appointment 6 months from now.
So you not only come and stay at the hotel, you leave with something even more.
Exactly. You leave with something that you're able to really focus on and work on, especially if tennis is something of interest to you, then we definitely have that. And I do like to mention that, these are not your run-of-the-mill tennis pros. These are the same guys that are training Andy Murray in the off season. It's that level of type of interaction that you're going to get with these tennis pros. And so I think it's a phenomenal piece to our local destination, but it's just one of many. We have a Lake Nona adventure park that's 10 minutes from the property. Imagine an outdoor jungle gym for adults, and then there's also an aquatics course. You can do wakeboarding. It's a man-made lake, so you don't have to worry about any gators or any of the Florida type of wildlife that we're famous for. And so that's 10 minutes from us in addition to that.
And again, you're doing all these activities with other locals. It's not overrun with crowds of people. It's really just a community.
Exactly. It's a residential suburb. It's exactly what you think. It's our own little slice of Pleasantville, if you will. Talking about the theme parks for a moment, obviously, if you're going to Orlando for the parks, I encourage you to stay at the parks and be there and really immerse yourself in that experience, because it's supposed to be a once in a lifetime type of thing.
Right.
We all know that the parks are very expensive, but there's that customer out there that's maybe done it a few times, maybe has older kids, maybe doesn't want their entire holiday focused around the parks. And so that's where our value proposition comes in, is you have a luxury lifestyle product that's close enough to be able to get there in a short amount of time, but you're far enough away to where you don't have to take it home with you at the end of the day.
Or like you say, you stay at the parks for those first few days, and then you
exactly
get your relaxation at the spa and with your tennis, and just enjoying the property for a couple days after.
Exactly. It's truly a retreat. And that's a wonderful way to describe it. But at the same time, you're not too far away from all of the major attractions that drive people to this destination. And so I think it's really the kind of the best of both worlds. And it's a market segment that really hasn't been captured for Orlando as a city.
Totally agree.
In our general vicinity walking distance, right? And the graphic that you'll see here in the slide is everything that you see in this graphic is walking distance. And that's very important because, most travelers don't have a car. And so to have accessibility for things that are in walking distance to where you don't have to worry about, any sort of ride share, taxi, Ubers, anything like that, I think it's a wonderful piece to add to what we bring to the table from a hotel standpoint. And starting kind of at the left on the screen there, you have the Lake Nona Performance Club. It's a state-of-the-art 130,000 square foot wellness facility that guests receive complimentary access to during their stay at Wave.
Wonderful.
And so if you're focused on health and wellness, you want that upgraded experience, and you don't want, just because you're on vacation, to lose your routine and miss those couple of days working out and being active. We have that solution for you.
Well, and I just want to mention, look at the size of that facility. It is huge. I've been there. It's multiple levels, and the spa is also located over in there, correct?
Yes, exactly. So we have a partnership with the Performance Club, obviously with the complimentary access, but inside the Performance Club, there's some upgraded experiences that guests can take advantage of. We have in Rocks indoor rock climbing wall. We have the in-club golf simulator to where you can actually work with a golf pro on your swing virtually. And same thing, they'll kind of give you some homework to take back. You can schedule follow-up appointments the next time you're in town to be able to see how you've progressed. You also have the Chopra Mind and Body Zone Spa. And so you're able to actually book classes from aerial yoga, hot yoga, Pilates, advanced Pilates, but they also have massage therapy treatments at the spa as well. And so from a wellness standpoint, we definitely have something to offer those that are health and wellness focused.
Well, and here you can see a little shot of me climbing that rock climbing wall
Yes.
in rocks. I'm not fabulous at it, but I gave it a go and it was kind of fun. But really, really a great facility, and you're working out with world-class athletes in there. Because imagine USTA is right there. There's several other. There's a lot of soccer also in that
Yes,
community. So you have athletes coming down for different seasons coming, and they're using this facility as well. So as long as you won't get intimidated, it's actually really fun in there to see world-class athletes, working out right next to you.
Exactly. And on that piece, one of the things that Lake Nona is expanding as kind of a hub for is kind of alternative treatments for those athletes and those conditioned athletes. We work with a partner called Nestre Human Performance, which is actually located in the Performance Club, and they actually do brain scannings to be able to get to the root of your human potential.
Wow.
And they're actually doing studies to be able to show that they're able to actually push forward human performance based upon the normal limits that you think you're capable of. Really exciting, really kind of forward thinking, initiatives that are going on. And that's just one of many.
Well, and we're about to get into all the tech that is inside Lake Nona. It's almost an attraction itself just to see all of the tech that's there. But before we do that, what are the other kind of hot spots that we have in this kind of area?
Absolutely. So in our local town center, you have a beautiful collection of restaurants and bars and a couple of shopping venues as well. We have a beautiful salon for the ladies, and we have this really cool spot. I myself get my hair cut there. I am a huge proponent of supporting local. And we have a barber shop in the town center called the Master Barber Experience. And it's exactly what you want out of a barbershop experience. I mean, they do the straight razor shaves. They everything is the attention to detail is just bar none. And it's exactly like that kind of old school quintessential barbershop experience. And that's right in the heart of our town center.
Awesome.
Also located in Lake Nona is Boxi Park, which is an outdoor entertainment venue that was designed out of recycled shipping containers. It's open basically throughout the week, and then Thursdays through Sundays, there's live music every single night, family friendly, pet friendly, kid friendly, everybody friendly, really at the end of the day.
But and there's also adult beverages. But yes,
Exactly.
That's what's great is really anybody can come in there and kind of wander in, wander out, and it's a fun place to go.
Exactly. There's walk-up food and beverage counters there. There's this wonderful spot that they do actual lobster rolls there, so very unique. I mean, there's a taco shop, there's an Asian one, so it has really something for everybody. In addition to that, behind Boxi Park, we actually have the Philip Dolhauser beach volleyball camp as well.
Oh.
So in addition to USTA, in addition to all of our human performance initiatives, we also have beach volleyball in addition to that. And those courts are first come, first serve. You're able to get out there and play. They do pickup games all the time.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's a lot of fun as well.
Do you get out there sometimes?
I will watch. I'm more of a supporter, but it's a great way to spend a Friday night, Saturday night, just to kind of be outdoors with the locals and things like that. I did mention pet friendly, and one of the things before I forget, I do want to mention that Wave is pet friendly as well.
Okay.
So we do welcome the furry ones and our loved ones. We know that they're almost children at this point in this day and age, so we want to make sure that they're taken care of. They get a wonderful pet amenity upon arrival, including a dog bed, a food and water bowl, as well as some homemade biscuits from our culinary team as well.
And I love that. Now, I know that there are some people out there that are not into pets, and not to worry. I've been there multiple times. I didn't see a single pet related item or pet. So it's good for both sides.
Exactly.
Pets are there, but it's not going to be in your way if that's something that you're worried about.
Exactly. And then in this local town center area as well, for any reason that someone didn't want to walk, or, maybe they're in a rush and they need, an alternative mode to be able to get there. We have complimentary bicycle rentals available as well. And then we also have complimentary autonomous shuttles that run throughout Lake Nona as a destination. It's a local company called Beep. They're headquartered actually in the town center as well. So again, local supporting local is really the theme here. And so Beep, our transportation partner, runs complimentary autonomous shuttles, fully electric. They self-drive. They have an operator on board just in case, but they do drive themselves. It's only 12 miles an hour, so it's not overbearing or anything like that. But it goes within 8 different locations within the Lake Nona area, and Wave has its own dedicated stop right on the front drive. So that is an additional option to be able to get down there.
So again, it'll take you to Boxi Park and some other cool locations around the area. So in case you didn't hear, autonomous vehicle. This is really, really neat. It goes slow. I know that they're talking about picking up the speed, hopefully, fingers crossed. But there is a human inside kind of monitoring, right?
It's really, you have to see it to believe it. There is an operator on board, but the steering wheel, if you will, is actually a video game controller. And so they're actually able to control the autonomous shuttle via a Microsoft Xbox controller. It's the craziest thing. I've ridden it a few times. It's totally safe. I've never had any challenges with it. And it's uniquely local to our destination. We can confidently say that nowhere else in Central Florida has them.
It's amazing. It's one of my favorite things. So, okay. So we've touched on a bunch of, and then there's some restaurants. Cool. Like, I think this whole little Lake Nona Center, you have to, again, see it to believe it. It's a great little spot. All these different cute little restaurants, all walkable. You can walk there from the hotel, or you could beep there.
Yes, you can.
Really, really awesome. So talking about the tech, let's talk about that a little bit more as we're going to look more into the hotel now here as we walk into the hotel. But tell us a little bit more about some of the other tech things that you have on property.
So, some of the basic things that you probably are familiar with at other properties, we do have complimentary EV charging for electric vehicles. We have ones that are built for Teslas as well as Porsche or any other car brands in between those. In terms of technology of the building itself, one thing that I do love to mention is, being that Wave is a high-rise hotel, the entire thing is glass, right? But it's not normal glass. It's a company that's called View Glass.
Okay.
And what that means is based upon what the sun is doing, the glass around the building will automatically tint based upon what the sun is doing. So you never lose your natural light. So if you think about it, just broad example, if you're there for a meeting, right?
Right.
Every single meeting planner that comes to a hotel asks for natural light. It's the biggest request. But as soon as the presentation starts, everybody shuts the blinds. It's just, that's the nature of events. That's the way that it goes. At Wave, you never lose your natural light. It blocks out 99% of UV rays. It also keeps the room very cool as well. And so if the sun happens to be shining in, the glass automatically gets darker on its own. It doesn't even need a command or anything like that. It's truly unique. And View Glass is actually headquartered here in Central Florida as well.
Amazing. And I know that there's other things. I personally just loved the fact that when I drove my car up to check into the hotel, the kind of attendant said, "Hey, what's your number? We'll text you when you're ready to go. All you have to do is, what do you text? Do you know the word that you're supposed to text?"
I think it's just car.
I
think you text car.
There's a text car, and we'll bring you your car. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of fun. I don't have to do any awkward commotion finding a tag. That's something tiny, but it meant a lot for me when I was ready.
Absolutely.
I can remember car.
And speaking about parking as well, one of the things that makes Wave unique is we actually don't charge for parking. And so self and valet parking is complimentary. And that's something that's very unique. Everywhere that you go nowadays, especially at hotels, charges for parking. We have an absolutely beautiful parking garage that's located right in front of the property. And again, fully complimentary for both self and valet.
Awesome. And well, we'll get into this, but those fabulous toilets.
Yes.
This is part of the tech. This is definitely part of the tech.
Yes. And so if you were to Google, Lake Nona Wave Hotel, and you were to start to look at all of the publications that we've been featured in and some of the articles that have been written about the property, one of the common themes that you will find is people think that we are the most technologically advanced hotel in the world. I personally am not a fan of that statement, because that just means that someone is going to try to outdo you, right?
Right,
I just like
right.
to say that we have an abundance of technology and we're very forward thinking in that regard. But other than that, it's really not a competition for us. And one of those pieces that, people will write about is we are the largest collection of Japanese Toto toilets in the United States. And these are the Neo Rest ones that, you walk up to it, the seat will automatically open. It's heated. It has a full wall panel with all kinds of different controls on it, fully customizable. And a fun fact, we are actually one of the few independent properties that has its own mobile app. And with that, you can actually flush your toilet directly from the mobile app.
Oh, I missed that feature. I missed that somehow. Oh, okay. So there's all kinds of fun little things that you're going to discover kind of in the tech side
Exactly.
when you arrive at Wave. But let's take a look. What happens when we walk into this fabulous hotel? Let's see this place.
So Lake Nona Wave was designed to be the living room of Lake Nona, kind of a central meeting place for guests and residents alike. To kind of give you the backstory about what, who is developing Lake Nona and
Sure.
who developed this property.
Mhm.
We are owned by the Tavistock Development Company. And Mr. Joe Lewis is the owner of Tavistock Development, and he owns the majority of land in Lake Nona. And so everything that you see in the area, chances are Tavistock is the one that's pushing that forward. And Lake Nona Wave is the brainchild of Mr. Joe Lewis. And this is his first ground up new build independent property. And this is the first one that he's ever done. He owns other properties, throughout the country and some in the Caribbean as well that are branded, but this is the true first independent.
Well, this brings me to a key question. And I think a lot of people always guess the wrong answer to this. Why is it called the Wave? Being in Central Florida, I think the automatic kind of guess would be what? Ocean waves.
Oceans, yes.
Right? We're in Florida. There's some waves.
Exactly.
What's the real answer?
So it has absolutely nothing to do with bodies of water.
Okay.
And so Wave, you have to think about it more of a functionality in the sense of we want guests, residents, our team members, anybody that happens to be passing through to find their wavelength. And that's really what it means, whether that's a health and wellness journey, whether that means improving your tennis game, whether that means traveling over to Disney World or Universal Studios. We want guests to find their wavelength and where they feel as though they're either performing at their best or they're recharging to be able to return home at their best. And so really Wave means find your wavelength. And kind of immersing yourself in all of the different points of energy that we have throughout the property.
And when you're driving around Lake Nona, you'll see always in the distance this iconic feature, the wave. And now every time you do, you'll be able to kind of picture it a little bit differently, thinking of that wavelength.
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
awesome. So Joe Lewis.
Yes.
Talk about this artistry throughout this hotel.
So as soon as you walk in the front doors, you are met with this incredible wall of different art pieces. There's over 300 pieces of art on this wall alone. We actually have scavenger hunts that we will give to guests upon arrival to go and find specific pieces throughout the property. And it immediately pushes them into learning about the resort and finding different pieces and immersing themselves in all of the different fixtures that you have. Every time that you look at our living room, you're going to find a different piece of art that you probably didn't see the last time that you were looking.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that psychology tells us, kind of a fun story, fun fact, is that when we walk into a new space for the first time, we automatically look to the right. For whatever reason, when we're in unfamiliar territory, we look to the right. Well, if you look to the right when you come into our living room, you will see a vertical couch. And you're probably wondering, why the heck is that there? Why is there a vertical couch? You can actually sit in it. It's one of our most capturable, Instagrammable type of spaces. But the reason for that is to automatically grab your attention that you're in something different.
Gotcha.
And that's why it's there, because automatically we always look to that right space, and that's why it's right there in that view. And so when you walk in, you have this wonderful architecture of art and design. And one thing about Mr. Lewis is he's one of the largest purveyors of art in the United States and a collector of art. And so he really wanted that influence to be in his property. And so this is kind of what that looks like. All of the furniture that you see within our property is all custom.
Yeah.
Nothing has been purchased from a catalog or from a store. It might have been the actual bones of the chair or the sofa, whatever it may be, but everything was skinned custom to be able to kind of make it unique and one of one to Wave. And so when you put that type of attention to detail in property, that's how you become that luxury and lifestyle type of reputation.
And by the way, I know that recently for Christmas, you guys have done a few little adjustments to that opening area to the walk-in area, and I love it.
Yes. So every hotel has branding, right? And so, if you're a traditional luxury property, I think automatically of like the Waldorf Astoria in New York, right? The greatest of them all, as Conrad Hilton once said. You're going to go very traditional type of decorations, Christmas trees and garlands and things like that. Well, Wave isn't very traditional, and so what do? We found a local acrylic designer that was able to design colorful acrylic Christmas trees for us to place throughout the lobby. And so when you walk in, you have pinks and you have blues and you have oranges and just all the kinds of different alternative decorations. But in addition to that, we have all of those fun neon signs, almost like the Go Travel one that we had here, that, say, slay all the way and ho, ho, ho and naughty list and all kinds of fun things like that. And so we are decorated for Christmas, but it's in a very different type of feel.
So if you already captured your Instagram moment a couple months ago, you can always return at different parts of the season, because you never know. Maybe that new Instagrammable moment is there for you.
Yes, exactly.
So, Awesome. So what do we have though if we look to our left?
So if we look to the left, we have a beautiful game room space. And the reason I like to bring this up is it's really nothing more than a central space or a communal ground to be able to sit in, if you're waiting for a car, or if you're transferred to the airport or to your, to Port Canaveral. But more than that, it's a communal space to be able to hopefully spark up a conversation with somebody that you didn't know before. And that's really coming back to that. We really want Lake Nona Wave to be the living room of our city. And so we actually place conversation starters on all the different tables in there, so that hopefully maybe a guest will speak to a resident, ask them a random question, they spark up a conversation, and who knows, maybe it benefits them professionally, maybe it's personally, whatever it may be. But we really want to spark that type of interactions between our customers.
And this photo here, it looks like, I think I see a Jenga, but definitely I remember seeing chess,
yes,
all kinds of games. Some of them I don't even know what they are, which is obviously the point that you're trying to do.
Exactly. So, we can't call it a game room if we didn't have games, right?
Right.
And so, of course, Jenga, chess, checkers, tic-tac-toe, and a few different things to be able to, to make sure that, if we're entertaining children or anything like that, that we have some options for them as well. On the televisions that you see in this graphic, of course, we have our standard pieces of art and things like that, but we also feature rotating NFTs on these screens. So we have our digital art as well. So again, that technology focus, we purchase those, and so we actually own those, and they'll feature on the television.
This is a fun fact that I learned today. I didn't know about that. Awesome. Okay, now moving forward, where else do we go?
So moving forward from there, when you walk through our property, and you'll notice that there's back doors to the property, and you're wondering, where do these back doors go?
Right.
Why is there a front entrance and a back entrance, but everybody goes to the front, right? So you walk outside, and all of a sudden you're in a living, breathing art gallery, if you will. And that's what we call our sculpture garden.
Fabulous.
And so fun fact about our sculpture garden, there are over 17 different species of palm trees in the sculpture garden.
Oh my gosh.
And not two of them are next to each other. Not two of the same are next to each other. So imagine from a landscaping perspective, the attention to detail that you have to make sure that there's not one of the same palm tree next to each other throughout the garden.
That's wild.
It's very cool. And again, attention to detail is really the focus here. In addition to that, we feature a bunch of larger than life sculptures that are from a local sculptor. His name is Jeffrey. He's actually a local Lake Nona resident, and he actually designed the exteriors of the parking garages that are in Lake Nona as well,
which are also iconic. Everybody knows those.
Iconic.
Yes.
The reason for that is we have 3 of them in the area, and each one of them is covered in a different language. And so the one outside of Lake Nona Wave is Braille, the one in our town center is binary code, and then the third one is DNA. But if you go up close to them and you look at the different circles that are for Braille, or the different 1s and 0s for binary, they have letters next to them. And so if you look, you can actually spell out words on the parking garage, words like innovation, wellness, technology, forward thinking, things like that. And so there's messages behind that as well, and really getting into the granular there. But Jeffrey, his main passion was art. And so in this graphic that you see here, the praying man, one of the most famous ones that we have in the garden, this is something that he created, and he's 11 feet tall. So he may look small on the screen, but if you're standing next to him, you're looking directly up at him. If you have anyone that's interested in weddings for whatever reason, either planning or if you're actually, getting married yourself, imagine your ceremony out here on the sculpture garden. You have
Right.
the officiant and the bride and groom standing right underneath the praying man, and then you have all of your attendees sitting out in the garden. That's one of the many different special events that we're able to do in the garden as well. I
Yeah.
think it makes it very unique for hotels in Orlando in general to have this type of outdoor space that is pre-decorated. You
Right.
really don't have to go overboard with any sort of additional lighting, piping, and draping or anything like that.
Absolutely. Especially those kind of that banquet. If you want to arrange a banquet out there, here you can see a photo of that as
Exactly.
well. Just a fabulous backdrop to any kind of event that you might want to do.
Exactly. And one other piece of art that I love to mention is if you've ever been to Wall Street, you go to Wall Street in New York City and they have the charging bull right on Wall Street, right? And so Mr. Lewis actually owns the mold to the charging bull. And so he placed a charging bull in our sculpture garden, and it's one of 4 in the world.
Wow.
So we're very happy to have it. It's truly the most capturable piece that we have on property. Guests absolutely love it, and they're fully surprised when they're like, oh my gosh, there's a actual charging bull here, and it's exactly like the one in Wall Street.
Very cool. Now, one other kind of special activity that you might be able to do as well, if you're hosting an event, you can also bring in a yoga instructor.
Yes, you can. So in terms of, if we're talking about special events, things like that, we have a lot of customizable options for our groups.
Yep.
From a meeting perspective. We've had guests that have done painting in the sculpture garden. We've done coordinated yoga classes in which we'll provide you all of the mats, complimentary waters, all the things that you're able to have to be able to get a good class in. And then we will bring a yoga instructor from the Performance Club over to the garden to do
By
it
the
right
way,
outside.
here's a picture of last time I was doing yoga in the sculpture garden for a special event there at the Wave. Super fun, such a gorgeous backdrop for that morning yoga experience.
Exactly.
Really awesome.
Exactly.
So just ask us if you want to be organizing something for some special event. We'll get it done. Okay, next spot.
Right. So, once you finally come back in, you're probably thinking, okay, what am I eating when I'm on property? And food and beverage is obviously such an important component to any hotel. And I'm happy to say that Wave has 4 food and beverage outlets today. And I'll
Wow.
let you in on a little secret that we have 2 more that are in the works.
Whoa.
So hopefully by the end of next year, we'll have some additional food and beverage outlets to be able to talk about.
Yes.
But for today, what we have is first our living room bar. And so this is right inside our main lobby area. And exactly what you would expect from a living room bar. But again, we kind of bring that Wave type of twist to it. So a wonderful craft cocktail list, as well as some small shareable plates that are available, from a food and beverage menu perspective. We're open 7 days a week at the living room bar. The stadium seating that you see here is really an homage to Times Square. So if you've ever been up there, they have the stadium bleachers right in the heart of Times Square. And so it's kind of an alternative seating area. Again, great capturable moments.
Yeah.
You have our wonderful dogwood tree that's a staple of the living room bar as well, especially at night when it's all lit up. It's beautiful. One drink that I love to mention about the living room bar that I think is a phenomenal cause that that I think that we can all get behind is we have a drink on the menu called the One Heartbeat, in which 10% of all proceeds that are from that beverage being purchased are donated directly to the One Pulse Foundation in Orlando.
Wonderful.
So I think that that's a wonderful cause, and literally all you have to do is just order a beverage. It's
Right.
very, very simple, and you're giving back to a good cause at the same time.
And of course, there are a whole myriad of very unique cocktails. Some of them alluding to scientists.
Yes.
What's that one with the scientists?
So that's one of my favorites. It's called Thomas Edison's Bright Idea,
There it is.
and
There
it's
it is.
it's actually served in a light bulb. So very cool, very swanky. We have another one that's called the Pursued by Bear, and it's actually served in like a jar of honey style bear as well. So we have giant punch bowls as well, that you can share with like a party of 4. So a lot of different uniques, not just your standard gin and tonic or old fashioned or anything like that. We really try to take it a step further than that.
So if you're just looking for even a fun date night, you gotta head over to the Wave
Absolutely.
and check out some of these fabulous cocktails. But really, this living room bar is right there in the center, on the main floor, where it's the meeting spot.
Exactly.
People from the community come in, see and be seen, see who's there, and then maybe they're going to wander upstairs in a bit. But okay, what do we have next as far as areas around the hotel?
Right. So on our first floor, just adjacent to where the living room bar is, we have Bacan, which is our
Yes.
signature restaurant. Bacan is a menu that was was created from the North and South America, so the flavors of the Americas really. And there's influences all the way down to Ecuador, Venezuela, Argentina, and then obviously here in the States as well. So a really, really good encompassing menu. And Bacan was actually featured in the Michelin Guide in July.
Okay.
Keep in mind that we just opened in December of 2021, so we're not even a year old yet. And we've already gotten that recognition for the food and beverage experience that you receive at Bacan. We are pursuing that Michelin star, so hopefully we can be one of the very few restaurants that has a Michelin star within the near future. Hopefully by the end of 2023, we'll be able to say that. And in terms of menu highlights, one thing that I do love to highlight about the Bacan menu is actually, funny enough, a chicken dish. And you wouldn't think that chicken would be the highlight, but this one's special.
Okay.
The reason for that is it's called the truffle chicken two-way. So everybody loves truffle nowadays, right? It's one of the biggest crazes: truffle fries, truffle potatoes, everything else in between, right? Well, we do a truffle chicken, and we have a rotisserie in our kitchen, and chef will bring out the full chicken, show it to you. He'll actually have it tableside.
Okay.
He'll bring the other half back and deep fry it. So you have chicken two ways, served with a patatas bravas on the side. It's absolutely delicious. You have to share it though. It is not a one person type of.
I'm getting hungry. I'm ready.
But it's one of the top selling dishes on our menu. It's truly a sight to be seen, and it's something simple. You know, it's nothing. You know, you're not recreating the menu or the wheel, if you would, but it's definitely a fan favorite.
Now, earlier in the video, I noticed some sort of tech rolling around the restaurant.
Yes. So we have a very famous team member that works at Bacan. Her name is Rosie.
Rosie.
It's an homage to the Jetsons, of course.
Sure.
She's a robot. We love her. She never calls out. She's always on time. She's always in great spirits. She's the model employee. And so we're very happy to have Rosie, and she actually runs food to all of our tables during dinner service. So Bacan, yes, is only open for dinner. And all of our restaurants are bookable on Open Table.
Yeah.
But Rosie will actually run food to our tables. And it's funny because if one of our actual food and beverage team members were to bring food to a table, guests will typically send it back and say, no, I want Rosie to do it. You know, and it's kind of like, okay, well, you know, Rosie's definitely getting her steps in on
Poor Rosie. She's a busy gal.
She is a busy gal.
That's awesome. Anything else about Bacan before we?
No, I think it's one of those things you have to see to believe. It's an open kitchen floor plan, so you can see our culinary
Yeah.
team hard at work. It definitely deserves all the recognition that it's getting. And if you haven't known about it, if you're local, give us a try. You won't be disappointed.
Well, after our fabulous dinner at Bacan, maybe we're ready for some after dinner drinks.
Yes.
Where shall we go for those after dinner drinks?
So we have a couple of options for that. And so Haven Kitchen is located on the second floor of the property, and this is our 3-meal restaurant. So this is where you can have breakfast, lunch, dinner. It also supports our pool functions as well from a food and beverage perspective. And so Haven Kitchen, what I like to say is Haven brings the outdoors indoors.
Yeah.
You can really see that with the living walls and the foliage on the ceilings. It's beautifully, beautifully decorated. And the menu itself is Mediterranean inspired. One of my favorite dishes on there is a muhammara, and that's an appetizer, beautiful hummus, and it's got a flax seed type of crisp with it. It's very, very good. And they have a wonderful craft cocktail list as well. We actually feature our local Lake Nona brewery at Haven as well, which is
that's
Park
awesome.
Brewing.
Okay.
Park Brewing is actually located right in the town center in Park Pizza, which is one of our restaurants down there. And so we source locally their beers to be able to feature them in Haven as well. So you get a local experience in addition to that.
Well, and also checking out a different angle, definitely more Instagrammable moments in the Haven Kitchen.
Absolutely.
So-
Absolutely. But if we're talking about, you want to have that fun day at the pool and everything like that, of course, we have a beautiful pool deck area that's right outside Haven, located on the second floor. I like to call it the most colorful pool in Orlando. You have these bubblegum cabana style colors that are available for rent. Our cabanas are available for a $250 rental for the day. The pool is open from sun up to sundown. So you basically have a good 12 hours to be able to lay poolside. They have televisions in there, complimentary soft drinks, as well as chilled towels, sunscreen, and then chilled fruit, chocolate covered strawberries, everything that you need to have a wonderful day poolside, and of course dedicated service along with that. So we also do have some wonderful poolside events that we do throughout the year, especially over the summer. We'll throw pool parties, we'll have DJs out there, definitely kind of bringing that Miami flair to it a little bit, but not overbearing at the same time. Definitely still family friendly, but just kind of livening up the atmosphere a little bit more.
Now, last summer, you guys did something pretty crazy. You guys took a lift And what did you bring up to the pool for a pool party?
So we brought up via crane. We brought up a moke, which is an electric golf cart style vehicle, and it was kind of wrapped in safari style palm tree type of things. And we literally just put it up there so guests could get in there, take pictures.
We're gonna put photo of this because you've got to see the behind the scenes on this. That was wild.
You know, it's really, you know, we want guests to be able to make memories on property, and so kind of giving them the tools to be able to do that and take fun pictures and have fun with their family, their friends, whatever it may be. And this is just a very small activation. It took no effort at all, literally just lifting up an electric vehicle onto the pool deck, you know?
No, you're supposed to say this was the most difficult feat that we ever. No, I think it really says just kind of the fun creativity behind everything that you guys do there. And also, so you can have even some night events if you're doing some special event. You can book out the pool as well.
Of course you can. Yes. We do private events at the pool. Of course, it wouldn't infringe on typical guest hours or anything like that. This would be after the pool is closed. So of course there's, you know, you won't lose any sort of pool time if we have a private event. So we definitely like to encompass the, groups to have an option for an outdoor event as well. And then talking about nightlife for a moment. So obviously, you know, you have living room bar, which of course, you know, lobby bars always get busy at night. But, you know, we want our guests to be able to have something a little bit more. And again, kind of remember, you know, we are that living room, right? And so we want guests and residents to be able to come here just because they want to, right? Just because it's available to them and they feel like it's an accessible.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe. Exactly. And so we feature Haven Lounge on our second floor as well, which is our nightlife venue. And so it's open Thursdays to Sundays in the evening. Typically opens at 7 p.m. and we'll have a saxophonist or a violinist that's available from 7 to 9 or so, just kind of getting the mood going, getting people through the door. And then starting at 9 p.m., we'll transition over to a DJ. Awesome. We'll do special events here as well. We do Latin nights throughout the week as well. We'll do different type of hospitality theme nights, things like that. But really, this is for our guests and residents. And so we just want to give a space for guests to feel like they can get up and dance. They can be a little bit livelier. But I do want to preface that this is not, your typical type of nightclub, right? There's no cover, there's no real dress code, there's no velvet rope, there's no VIP section. It's typically just a place for people to have a little bit more fun than just, having a conversation at a lobby bar. And I think it really, really does that very well.
Now, I'm just going to be a little bit shallow just for one moment, but if you sit in this lobby, you see the people coming in and out of this hotel. I've got to say, lots of beautiful, beautiful people.
Yes.
It's been a long time since I've seen so many just beautiful, fit people walking in and out of a hotel. So even if you just want to come out and hang out and see the people, see and be seen, have a few drinks, enjoy the music, you got to check it out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have a famous team member that works at Haven Lounge. I feel like we have a lot of fame throughout the property, So we have an awesome bartender that works at Haven Lounge, and he is a fire breather and a bottle juggler as well.
Yes, so we saw in that video earlier. Absolutely.
Yeah, so you get that show in addition to that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, there's one thing that we haven't talked about yet, and it's rooms. Where do you stay? Again, this is my last priority when it comes to a property. I'm about what kind of experience, what kind of feelings am I going to have when I'm there? And then, okay, I'll go sleep. But let's talk about what do the rooms look like? Let's see them.
Absolutely. So to kind of give you an idea of the room type breakdown here at Wave, we have 234 total guest rooms. Okay. We have 16 one-bedroom suites, and we have 2 two-bedroom penthouse suites. Our guest rooms feature a king or 2 queens. Okay. We have a few connecting and adjoining options available as well. And talking about our guest rooms that you see here, this is an example of our lead-in room type. So our 1 king guest room or our 2 queen guest room would be the entry-level category. Beautifully appointed. We feature frette linens as for our sheets as well as our bathrobe products. We also have Peo toiletries in the guest rooms for our bath amenities. As I mentioned earlier, we are one of the very few independents that has its own mobile app. You can control all of the technology in your guest room directly from the mobile app. So that includes really cool. The curtains, all of the lighting, as well as you can change your thermostat. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, you can flush that toilet as well.
And then check out the glass. We can see that view glass.
Yes, view glass.
Right
exactly.
there. at the end of that picture right there.
Exactly. So from a view glass perspective, had the sun been shining in, the glass would automatically be darker, but you don't lose that view and you never lose your natural light at the same time. In terms of additional technology points in the guest rooms, we also have in-room iPads as well. So don't feel like you have to download our mobile app. Everything that I just mentioned that's available on the mobile app is also available on the iPad as well. So you have a few different options. You know, we want guests to feel comfortable. We don't want them to feel like you have to download something just to be able to enjoy your stay. You don't have to do that. And then in addition to that, I mean, what I love about our guest rooms is they're bright.
Right.
I really like the refreshing colors. I think that everything is very eclectic, and I love that even the standard guest rooms comes with some sort of seating area. I think that that's few and far between nowadays, and especially having a small dining table as well.
Mhm.
You know, if you're a business travel customer for whatever reason, you need to stay at our property, and you get something for dinner to go, you have nowhere to eat it, then you're eating on your bed, and it's not exactly comfortable. I love that we have a seating area, even though it is on the smaller side. At least you have something in the standard
If
rooms,
you're
right?
doing a workcation, for example, you need a place to prop that laptop up.
Exactly.
You know, it's always handy to have that extra.
Exactly. And so, as I mentioned, these will come in a king or two queens. And then the next step up from the standard guest rooms is going to be our balcony rooms.
Okay.
And so it's the exact same interior that you see here in this photo. The only difference would be that it does have a balcony in addition to that. And these are furnished balconies. They're seating areas outside, and they're pretty expansive as well. So you do get a lot of square footage, and you do get beautiful views of Orlando as well.
Awesome.
Transitioning into our upgraded room types, we do have our one-bedroom suites.
Mhm.
These are 875 square feet. They have a full living area. The sofa that you see in the graphic here is a full-size Tempur-Pedic mattress for a sofa bed. So we can pull that out to have additional sleeping arrangements. Just off the front entryway, you have a half bath and then a full wet bar in addition to that. Our one-bedroom suites all have their own ice maker in them as well, which is really convenient.
That's great.
So you do have that available. You know, you're not going to have to walk down the hallway in your bathrobe carrying the little container and everything.
Yeah.
So really convenient in that regard. In the master bedroom, you have a one king guest bed, and then these do feature balconies with and without. We do have some suites that don't have balconies, and then we do sell the ones that do have balconies separately, so you always know if you're going to be getting one or not at the time of booking.
And I love that just because you left the public space doesn't mean that you're leaving all the art. There's art inside that room where you're going to be sleeping, and you get more of it.
Absolutely. In addition, in our one-bedroom suites as well as our penthouses, our bathrooms do feature these wonderful separate soaking tubs as well. So you have the stand-up glass shower, of course, but then you do have the separate soaking tub. So if anyone wants to take a bath or just relax that way, we do have that available for them as well.
Fantastic. And then going another level up.
Oh yes, and now to the penthouse. We've arrived.
Let's go.
So we have two penthouses on property. Both of them are two-bedroom kings.
Yes.
We do have one that has the option to add a third connecting room to where it would be a three-bedroom king. So this is going to be the suite for that C-level executive, for someone that is maybe looking to entertain, or maybe just has a couple. Maybe it's a couple of couples that just kind of want to share a room, enjoy a communal space, and enjoy their holiday in the Lake Nona area. When we talk about upgraded room types in the destination itself, I can confidently say that our penthouses will rival the best of the best in Orlando. From the decor, the square footage, and the amenities alone, that is enough for me to be able to confidently say this is a product that can rival the best of them in the area.
Well, and jumping to the corporate and event space, I believe that these rooms you can also book out for an event.
Absolutely. So we do use these for private events as well. We like to use these for kind of a happy hour mixer type of social type of event. We're not going to do full sit down dinners or anything like that in the penthouses, but hand passed hors d'oeuvres, maybe a pop-up bar, things like that. That's the type of event style that we'll do in our penthouses. It's a completely alternative to your typical event space. So I think it's unique in that regard.
Yeah.
But you also get the benefit of being in one of our high level suites. So it's automatically comes with this cachet of, wow, I'm in the penthouse.
Yes.
So guests and attendees really, really enjoy it. Both of our penthouses are on the 17th floor of our property, which is the tallest or highest floor in the building. True panoramic views of Orlando. You can see the downtown skyline. You can see beautiful views of the airport, International Drive, the Orlando Eye. And then in addition to that, on a very clear day, you can see Disney fireworks from our property.
Oh, that's neat. That's awesome. Now, one of the amazing perks of booking with your Go Travel advisor is we have some exclusive amenities and extras that you get by booking with your Go Travel advisor. So, David, let's talk about these little items that we get.
Absolutely. Go Travel is one of our preferred partners. We absolutely love working with everybody at Go Travel, and we're so happy to be part of this program and have these exclusive benefits that we're able to offer our mutual customers. And what those are is, first, you receive complimentary breakfast for 2 daily, and so it's a breakfast credit. Our breakfast menu is a la carte. There is no buffet, and so we give you a per day credit for 2 guests to be able to enjoy an entree as well as a beverage at Haven Kitchen. In addition to that, you receive a $100 resort credit per stay, which is valid basically on anything that you're able to charge to your guest room on property, except for room and tax. And so obviously the most common is going to be food and beverage.
Right.
Go have that beautiful dinner at Bacan and save $100 in the process. All you have to do is charge it back to your guest room, and we deduct the $100 at the time of checkout.
And also, if you want to use it at the Performance Club.
Yes.
Correct.
Absolutely.
There's some credit that you can use there for some of those activities.
Absolutely. So for the upgraded services at the Performance Club that cost additional money, such as the rocks climbing wall, the in-club golf, as well as the Chopra Mind and Body Zone Spa, all of those can be booked directly with our concierge, and then you're actually able to charge them back to the guest room, and we can apply your resort credit to those purchases as well.
Wonderful. So if you're on a diet and you're not eating a thing, if you're on a cleanse, you can go and have that spa experience and use that credit toward there.
Exactly.
Some other things though we get.
Yes. So you receive a complimentary upgrade at the time of arrival. So let's say you book our lead-in room type, our 1 king guest room. The complimentary upgrade would be to a balcony king. If you happen to book a balcony king, then the next upgrade would be over to our 1-bedroom suite, and so on and so forth. And so that is something that that we always try to accommodate for our Go Travel customers as much as we possibly can. And I'd like to believe that more times than not they are accommodated. In addition to that, you receive complimentary early check-in and late checkout. So if you get off in an early flight, please come to the front desk. Don't be shy. We understand it's early. If we have a room available that is in the category that you booked, we will of course check you in complimentary early. And then same thing on the departure. We will give you the absolute late checkout that we possibly can complimentary. And then lastly, we also provide you a complimentary welcome amenity on your arrival day. And so the standard one is a charcuterie plate with a bottle of red wine. If there's any dietary restrictions or anything like that, of course we can customize it. One of my favorites is our triple sec truffles that we do, and they're absolutely delicious.
Sounds fabulous.
Speaking of pastries, that actually brings up a really good point, not to sidetrack too much, but all of the pastries on property, between our desserts at Bacan, Haven Kitchen, everything else in between, all of our pastry menus were designed by the only pastry chef that has won the World Pastry Awards twice.
Wow.
So that's a claim to fame. And so when you come to Wave, get a dessert. Whether you're on a diet or not, just get a dessert. You won't regret it. You can't go wrong. All of them are absolutely phenomenal.
That's amazing. So again, when you are booking your next trip, reach out to your Go Travel advisor, because why book it online on your own and get none of these extra perks? Call your travel advisor, let them deal with all the booking, organize all your plans for you, any activities, other things, they can book everything for you. And then you get all these extra things, and you get that kind of VIP status of being able to maybe check in early or, an upgrade. It's nice to go places and kind of feel that VIP.
Absolutely. And given that, that I manage our partnership with Go Travel, anytime that a reservation is booked, my eyes are on it. And so that there's someone there behind the scenes that are looking after your stay, making sure that all of any sort of requirements or requests that you may have are being accommodated. So you have that point of contact on property as well.
That's amazing. Again, those special requests, our agents are in contact with David, and we'll make sure that you have that just wonderful, memorable stay.
Absolutely.
So again, if you don't have a Go Travel advisor, reach out to us at gotravel.com and we will connect you with a specialist, or reach out to your existing Go Travel advisor. But thank you so much, David, for joining us today. This has been, I've learned so many other new things, even though I've spent so much time at the Wave, but every time I go back, I learn something new. There's more art, there's more things to discover. So I really encourage you to go give it a try and check out the Wave.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you again for watching and joining us today. We will see you right here again next week for another Tuesday travel chat. In the meantime, have a wonderful day. Bye.
Bye.